Hello, Jim Gordon here, Treasurer for Citizens for Regional Transit, to introduce the University of Buffalo School of Architecture's Small Built Works program, New Vision for Transit in Buffalo and surrounding suburbs. It's called Vision 2024. This is the first in a series of videos of the presentation at St. Philip's Episcopal Church on May 15, 2024 by Professor Brad Wales, senior architecture students. CRT appreciates and gives thanks to WBEN 930 AM radio for permission to rebroadcast the audio that they recorded. We want to properly set expectations. We're at the very earliest stage of a plan that should take at least 15 years to implement. This is a community-led transportation plan. We want your thoughts. Use the comments section in the YouTube page underneath this video. The senior class was led by Professor Brad Wales. There was participation from at-large community members, the NFTA, the Town of Cheektowaga and the Town of Lancaster Planning Departments, and the City of Buffalo's Division of Planning and Zoning. We think we should provide some historical context before diving into the Vision 2024 plan. Let's start with the 1804 Radial Street Plan by Joseph Ellicott. It's centered on a modern roundabout. In the late 1800s, Buffalo engaged the famous Frederick Law Olmsted and his partner Calvert Vaux to plan the 7 parkways, and 8 roundabouts that comprise the Buffalo Olmsted Park system. The biggest, most beautiful, and the crown jewel of Buffalo and Olmsted's parkway system was Humboldt Parkway, which was blasted into oblivion in the 1960s by Robert Moses and the New York State Department of Transportation. In 1901, shortly after Buffalo installed the Olmsted Parks and Parkway system, Buffalo played host to the Pan American Exposition. Significantly, new technologies were starting to take hold. The Pan American Exposition introduced attendees to the concept of an electrified city. Between 1900 and the late 1940s, Buffalo experienced explosive growth. There was industry, technology, we had the Erie Canal, we had shipping, we had rail. Most of the time, people got around the town using light rail. You can see in this picture, light rail rapid transit was on Main Street before cars entered the picture. Once cars came into the picture, people no longer needed to stay downtown. Suddenly we had suburbanization and sprawl take over, with people leaving the city for the suburbs. The sudden influx of cars caused major problems for cities across the country. In Buffalo, we had congestion, demands for parking, resulting in poor land use decisions. We went highway crazy. We built highways through the middle of the city, destroyed Olmsted Parks. We raised buildings for parking. We raised buildings to make room for highways. Planners immediately saw that this was not working well. It was much better before when we had light rail, so they immediately started to make plans to restore light rail to Main Street, and in the process extended all the way out to Amherst for the new Amherst UB campus. In the 1960s, plans were drawn up for more than 40 miles of metro rail with connecting bus service. Phase 1 was to be the connection between the existing UB campus at the corner of Main and Bailey with a brand new North Campus in Amherst. The Amherst line would also connect with a proposed 21,000-person Audubon new community just north of the UB Amherst campus. The Amherst line was not built. The construction project was started, and 1,000 units of housing were built in the Audubon new community. But the money for the project was yanked by New York State and given to New York City to avert bankruptcy. The money was never replaced. Meanwhile, Metro Rail Phase 2 was what we now call the Main Line. This connected UB's campus at Main and Bailey with the downtown Central Business District. This did get built. The Main Line is currently in operation and serves thousands of people daily. The next line to be planned and built would be the Airport Line. The Airport Line would connect downtown with the Buffalo Airport, the towns of Cheektowaga and Lancaster. The next line to be built would be the South Towns Line, followed by the connection between Buffalo through the Tonawandas to Niagara Falls. The United States Census Bureau defines Erie and Niagara counties as a Metropolitan Statistical Area, or MSA. The all-time record high population for the MSA was 1,349,000 in 1970. 50 years later, in 2020, the population had fallen by 182,000 to about 1,166,000. The 2020 population is about 13% less than the all-time record high population from 1970. These one-region forward maps show the metropolitan statistical area's population density in 1970 and 2010. It's easy to see that by 2010, even though there were fewer people, they were spread out over a much wider area. Now we can superimpose the proposed Metro Rail system map over the 2010 map. You can see that the proposed Metro Rail extensions are very much in line with the population density. There are two areas of particular interest. In the north towns, we have the University of Buffalo that has almost 40,000 people, and in the south towns, we have the new Bill Stadium, which also serves about 40,000 people. These are important destinations that should be served by light rail rapid transit. In 2021, Cornell University fellow Elizabeth Tabor was given an opportunity to do a study of the East Side Airport extension for Citizens for Regional Transit. This was a collaboration with the Partnership for Public Good. One of the key findings of the study was that in certain census tracts, 30% of Buffalo households are car-free. This data was updated in 2022 by Darshana Subramanian. The study itself can be downloaded for free and is linked beneath this video. Making plans for the future right now is important because population projections, particularly those provided by the United Nations, anticipate an 8% population growth between 2024, this year, and 2034. If the UN predictions hold up, the MSA will be at or near the all-time record high population. If the trend continues past 2034, by another 10 years, we will be well in excess of the record all-time population for the MSA. The Vision 2024 plan, provided by the University at Buffalo's School of Architecture's Small Built Works program under Brad Wales, offers a glimpse into the future, where thousands more people can commute and travel quickly while producing zero greenhouse gas emissions and zero microplastic emissions. The architectural renderings are visualizations that advance the conversation about what the community wants for our region. Another significant 2024 event is the release of the NFTA Amherst Metro Rail Environmental Impact Statement. Early next year, the NFTA will open the first Metro Rail extension in 40 years with the reactivation of the DL&W Railroad Station downtown. CRT is looking forward to 2030 when we expect the Amherst Metro Rail to be completed between UB South Campus and Amherst. Okay, let's get ready and start talking about Vision 2024. The plan includes a new airport line, a restored belt line, and a new Kensington line. When you watch the upcoming videos, you will see that the new airport line is in green on the maps, the restored belt line is in dark blue on the maps, and the new Kensington line is yellow on the maps. After the Amherst extension, the airport line is the line that CRT gets the most requests for. The route to the airport is currently owned by the NFTA. When building light rail rapid transit lines, typically the highest cost item is paying for the right-of-way. However, the NFTA already owns this right-of-way, so there would be zero acquisition cost, making this line a very attractive proposition for a low-cost way to implement high-speed rapid transit. Professor Wales' students were given a simple line drawing of the route and turned it into a full-scale map. The Rapid Transit Beltline is a railroad right-of-way that circles the city. The right-of-way is currently used by Amtrak and CSX for freight. Over the years, there have been calls for the restoration of the Beltline as a rapid transit line for travel within the city. Just days ago, Stadler delivered the first hydrogen-powered train ever to San Bernardino. It's fast and quiet. There are no greenhouse gas emissions or microplastic emissions from operations. It requires no overhead wires or an electrified third rail, which means there is now a train that could be used on the Beltline. The third line in the Vision 2024 plan is a new line called the Kensington Line. It presumes that the Kensington Expressway will be filled in and abandoned. The right-of-way that was being used by the Kensington Expressway would be repurposed to carry light rail rapid transit on a northerly path. The new Kensington Line would connect on the west end with the Belt Line near Kensington Avenue. It would follow the current path of the Route 33 Kensington Expressway to the east and connect to the proposed light rail rapid transit downtown airport corridor near the airport. CRT uses the New York State Department of Transportation traffic data counts to determine whether or not we think there is sufficient demand to justify light rail rapid transit over other forms of transportation. Suffice it to say that the traffic counts indicate that the proposed routes would be successful routes for light rail rapid transit. Thank you for watching part 1 of our series. We will link part 2 as soon as it's ready in the comments below, and it will also be in the playlist. Thank you.